Hi. So, last year I wrote an article for whatculture.com suggesting that WWE bring back King of the Ring and suggesting what superstars might have a chance of winning it if they did. Now, it only took them a month to then announce that they were actually doing that in real life after a 4-year absence. We can only draw one of two conclusions from this. Either they saw my article and decided to do as I had suggested, or I can predict the future. And either way, that's exciting. I'm either like a profound influence on WWE just through my writing, or I can literally kind of metaphysically guess what they're going to do. So that's pretty cool as well, right? So I thought what I'd do is make some suggestions of 10 things that they might do, as well as bringing back King of the Ring. Do check out that article, by the way. It's still up there on whatculture.com. I realise that image of the Velveteen Dream that they've mocked up in a crown isn't quite as charming as it once was. Now he's been named in speaking out allegations. But, I mean, they weren't to know that was going to happen, were they? Neither was I. I mean, it's not like I can predict the future. I mean, apart from when I'm saying that I can predict the future as a flimsy premise for a list like this one. So, we accept the premise, yeah? Good? I'll crack on. I thought what I'd do is suggest 10 new things that WWE might bring back from the past for our entertainment using my incredible predictive gifts. That said, second-guessing Vince McMahon is never easy. Case in point, only 2 of my suggestions from my article actually made it into the final King of the Ring tournament. So, this stuff isn't an exact science. That's why I'm hedging my bet and giving 10 suggestions of things that they're going to bring back, and let's see what they are now. Number 10, the Gobbledygooka. Now, the Gobbledygooka was WWE's attempt to create a sort of stadium mascot that would, like you see at American football games, running up and down the touchline. I think, if like me you're in the UK, I think they still have them at football games as well, but I can't be sure. I don't really follow any team sport. I prefer my sports predetermined. But the Gobbledygooka was supposed to do that, get the crowd going, be in a fun suit. But after weeks of build and expectation, he was just booed out of the arena and roundly rejected by fans. So he was kind of nixed, and they got rid of him. But the thing is, this is wrestling. Basically, anything plus enough time equals nostalgia. And now we're looking at a generation of wrestlers who grew up on WWE products. They're probably nostalgic for the Gobbledygooka. There's loads of stars they've got on their roster who would probably love to have a go at being the Gobbledygooka, bring him back, and the fans would love it, because nostalgia. I mean, why? I bet Ricochet, for example, would love to drag on the Gooka suit, the hallowed, feathered costume. I mean, it's not like it's much worse than what they've actually got him doing. And actually, it'd be pretty cool to see the Gobbledygooka perform a 360 splash. Number 9. Iraqi sympathizers. Now, it's tricky these days with such brilliant athletic performers and the in-ring standard rising all the time to kind of find a heel that can generate genuine heat, because we all know what they're saying is kind of scripted or made up, it's kayfabe. We don't believe they're really nasty guys. And we're so dazzled by what they can actually do in the ring, it's hard not to be impressed by them. So when they go out and try and perform as heels, they're as likely to generate pops as boos. It's tricky to get it right. It's a couple of guys that can do it. MJF, very talented in that regard. Chris Jericho knows how to turn nasty just at the right time when the laughs turn into jeers. He's really talented. Randy Orton, for example, is boring as fuck. That helps. But there must be another way to create a new, brilliant kind of main event heel rather than just overexposing Baron Corbin some more. And I think I've got an idea. What they could do is just bring back Sergeant Slaughter's Iraqi sympathizer bit. Never has anything generated as much white-hot, genuine heat, nuclear heat, as him pretending to sympathize with the Iraqis while Americans were dying in Iraq at war. It was madness. But the good thing is now, America isn't actually at war with Iraq, so it would be admittedly outdated, but slightly less genuinely unpleasant than it was the first time around. And, this is Vince McMahon. It's not like he ever updates his references. Number 8. Damian Sandow. Damian Sandow got over really big as the Miz Dow, copying the Miz's moves and hanging around with him. Fans loved it, but never really got the payoff he deserved, and Sandow moved on. But I think they should bring him back, because now there's a whole new generation of stars for him to impersonate, right? You can see him grabbing some pancakes and grabbing a trombone and being the new Dow, or Claymore kicking someone's face off as Dow McIntyre, or maybe just like performing a out of nowhere, lights out, fiendish attack on a legend like Bray Wyatt, the Fiend Dow. Number 7. Crazy Survivor Series teams. Brand warfare is essentially bullshit. It's just something that WWE do every year because it helps them out of a hole when they run out of storylines and there's too long a gap between now and WrestleMania to really start setting anything up important or exciting. So they just go, hey, it's the red guys versus the blue guys, and now the black and gold guys are getting involved as well. But nobody wants to see their favourite WWE superstars, who are usually like larger than life monsters and heroes, dressing up in sort of house colours like they're ready for school sports day. Kind of takes the magic away a little bit. So I think they should go back to the era when they used to have crazy matches like four clowns versus four kings. You see what I did? I conflated kings and clowns, and I got well done me. God, I'm good at YouTubing. So I think we should go back to that, or teams where it's just everyone's got Warrior in the name, like the Ultimate Warrior and the Road Warriors, and I think the Texas Tornado was in it. I forget why. And, just mad, crazy sort of teams that don't really make any sense, but just jam people together and create stupid feuds. Stop this house colours bullshit, yeah? Number 6. The Shockmaster. So, the beautiful thing about WWE owning sort of most of wrestling now is they don't only have their own history to mine, they can go back and get the best bits of WCW as well, like, for example, the Shockmaster. That would be brilliant, I reckon, because then they could have him return with his kind of hapless slapstick antics. He could maybe fall through a wall and land on R-Truth and land himself a run with the 24/7 title. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Obviously, Fred Tugboat Ottman is probably too old now to return and take those sort of bumps, but you could just get anyone to come in and basically do it instead, like, how like the Big Show was supposed to be Andre the Giant's son in WCW. It would just be Shockmaster Jr., Kid Shockmaster. Number 5. Doink the Clown. So it's very easy to sneer at WWE's new generation era with all its ropey occupational gimmicks, but to be fair, that era had its moments and then some. Like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels raised the game in terms of in-ring psychology and athleticism. Razor Ramon and Diesel would go on to change the industry as the outsiders in WCW. Yokozuna was an incredibly agile big man. The Undertaker came to prominence. It was a wonderful time, and another part of that was Doink the Clown. Yeah, admittedly, it all went a bit sour, but at the start, when he was portrayed by Matt Bourne as a creepy clown before the face turn, he was actually genuinely brilliant. And okay, Matt Bourne isn't around anymore, but they've got loads of guys knocking about who could do... What's Mojo Rawley up to? Get him to slap on the face paint. And if they ever do get to go back to Saudi Arabia again, having Doink the Clown back on the roster is bound to satisfy the Saudi sports authorities' lust for old legends from the past, right? Just the least said about that cameo at Money in the Bank, the better. Number 4. Cheeroffs at Royal Rumbles. This year's Royal Rumble was something of a triumph, which must have been a relief not just to fans but to the creative team at WWE, because the last few years they've really struggled with what is their biggest gimmick match, one of their most important events on the calendar, with Roman Reigns and Bautista being roundly rejected by fans, and it's just not what you need. One of your biggest pay-per-views of the year going off air to boos, right? It's not ideal. So what I'm suggesting is maybe we go back to the Lex Luger, Bret Hart model and have 2 winners, and then they can topple over at roughly the same time, and then we can just have a cheer-off. Who doesn't like a cheer-off? It was always fun at Flambard's Holiday Park when we were deciding the winner of the dance competition. I can't see why it can't also work here. Okay, so I'm now sat at my PC here, literally editing this video, and I have completely lost faith in that as a suggestion. In fact, even at the time when I was filming that, there was a take in which I stopped and said the following. I don't know if that's a good idea. Yeah. So, despite my compelling Flambard's Holiday Park dance competition based arguments, I've lost. I'm basically advocating for screwy finishes, which I think we get enough of in WWE. I don't think that's my best idea. Very much idea 10 of 10 when I was scrabbling for things to put in this list, and burying it in the middle has not hidden that. So I apologise. I wish I could give you the time back that you watched that entry in this list. Instead, I'd like you to imagine another better idea of your own that you can insert into this list, and that can be the real number 4. Alright, back to the video. Number 3. Linda McMahon. With fans completely bored and jaded and fed up with Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon, and Vince still apparently able to pop a rating, but a shadow of his former self. You know, the creative team are clearly running out of McMahons to bring in to pop a rating and create a bit of buzz. And yes, Linda McMahon was always the worst one, but enough time has passed now for fans to kind of grow warm and fuzzy and nostalgic about her wooden appearances from the past, and maybe creative could find some way to recreate that moment where she stood up out of her wheelchair and kicked Vince McMahon square in the plums. Number 2. Undertaker versus Undertaker. Okay, so when WWE originally did an Undertaker versus Undertaker match at SummerSlam in the 90s, yeah, it was terrible. It stunk the place out, but you've got to have something to headline the huge Saudi Arabia shows if they ever get to go back there. You know, the Saudi Sports Authority demand legends, and all the legends are getting too old and unwilling, but Taker seems just about willing to drag himself out there for enough money. Let's get some lanky dude from the Performance Centre in a trench coat and a hat, and let's make this happen. It's going to be a fun visual, if nothing else. In fact, maybe actually you could find someone young enough and fit enough to portray The Undertaker, to carry The Undertaker to a decent match. The Undertaker could carry The Undertaker to a good... Is there something in that? I don't know. I mean, look, let's just take a moment to imagine what might have happened if they tried to do this a decade ago when The Undertaker was at his peak in ring. Number 1. Hulkamania. So, when Hulk Hogan outed himself as a nasty racist, using horrible racial slurs on a sex tape, the WWE were quick to wash their hands of him, and rightly so. You know, and it's been good to see in the years since that, for once, the WWE have stuck to their guns, stuck to their principles, and not relented in the face of the potential to make more money. You know, they've kept Hulk Hogan very much at arm's length, apart from Saudi Arabia shows. Obviously, I mean, I need him for that, and he did host last year's WrestleMania, didn't he? And they've brought him back on Raw a few times to pop a rating, and he is back in the Hall of Fame now. Alright, fuck it. Fuck it. Shall we just do Hulkamania again? Let's just do it one more time. Hulkamania, all in earnest, good as it ever was, right? The shirt ripping, and the demandments, and the failed pasta restaurants, the whole works. We'll do the whole thing. Fuck it, put the belt on him. We'll make him WWE champion once again. Hulk Hogan, a hero to millions, a role model for children. And then just when we've lulled him into a false sense of security, we'll get Drew McIntyre to Claymore kick his racist old fucking head off. Wow, that was a nice thought to end a video on, wasn't it? It was lovely. And if you've enjoyed this video, then why not like and subscribe and share it with your friends and all that kind of thing. And you can even donate the price of a cup of coffee at my coffee account that should be appearing above my shoulder. And thanks for watching. See you again. Bye.